Welcome to the Golden State Media Concepts College Football Podcast, your ticket to all things college football. Are you looking to get your college football fix? Looking to get the latest news on your favorite school's team? Join us as we talk college football from the national championship to college rivalries to bowl games to the Heisman Trophy to which conference is the best. We've got you covered for the Big Ten, SEC, Big 12, Pac-12, ACC, and everything in between.
What is up? Welcome into the GSMC Football Podcast. I'm your host, Tom Dougherty, and of course that means this is the college football edition of the GSMC Football Podcast. Fantasy football is tomorrow. Tune in for that for fantasy football. This is college football, the college football edition of the GSMC Football Podcast. Like I said before, I am Tom Dougherty, your host. Today is Monday. We are ever closer. I have been counting down every day on this show to the day of all days, and that is Thursday, the NFL Draft, Round 1. And honestly, Round 1's the mystery. Round 1 is the mystery round. I mean, I've titled that "It Remains a Mystery." Mystery round is Round 1. How everything's going to shake out. Maybe even the top 10 picks are maybe the mystery. After that, it's going to be we'll just kind of figure out as it goes. You're going to find a lot more value probably on Friday when we're going to get rounds 2 and 3 on Friday, and then maybe even on Saturday too. But obviously the money round, the big round, big televised, well, they're all televised, but the big talked about round is on Thursday down in Arlington at Cowboy Stadium. Jerry World is going to be the host for the 2018 NFL Draft all weekend. First time we're going to have the draft at a NFL stadium. And I talked about it on Friday a lot. Kind of ranted about it for about 45 minutes, honestly, most of the show. Is that, the Browns are still on Josh Allen. And as I read through Twitter and get all these, you could tell who's BSing you and who's not on social media and all these different sports information stuff. I mean, they've got, if they're a check mark, if they got to verify, if they're from a team or they're writing for a valued source or a credible source, they probably know what they're talking about. They know what they're talking about, and I've seen people put Josh Allen's completion percentage information since his high school days. I've seen people saying, oh, another dumb team going to be picking Josh Allen over, probably, I don't know, maybe like a guy like, even Lamar Jackson has been said, like, why are you going to pick Josh Allen over Lamar Jackson? Well, honestly, I think I said it on Friday. I'm going to say it one more time. Just pick him, Browns. Be the Browns and pick him. Pick Josh Allen so the Giants can get can get Sam Darnold, and Sam Darnold doesn't have to sit in Cleveland and try and be the savior for that franchise. Because poor Sam Darnold. If he does, let Josh Allen figure it out, and then it'll all shake out the way it is, and then maybe we might get 4 quarterbacks in the first 4 picks of the draft. I mean, if the Browns are smart, they can be dumb and then they can be smart. You pick whoever you pick first, and then you trade the 4th pick. Unless you darn-tootly need Bradley Chubb. If you really need him. Maybe trade back to the 12th pick, give Buffalo the 4th pick, and see what you get there at 12. This draft, especially for defensive line, is very deep. Running backs are deep. It's all deep. Pretty much everything but wide receiver is deep. Maybe offensive line I mean, there's two guys. There's a guy from Texas, Williams from Texas, and Quentin Nelson from Notre Dame. But those are the names we've heard of. I mean, you got scouts all over the place. You got sleeper guys. You got guys who may not have been done well at the combine, what have you. But it's just Thursday has that mysterious gauze over it as Josh Rosen continues to be talked about less and less now that he's probably starting to shut his mouth. He got talked about a little bit last week at the fact that the Patriots are interested in him. I mean, another thing, trade with the Patriots, see what you can get with him. But it says Dan Patrick, source told him the Browns are choosing between Baker Mayfield and Josh Allen for number one. Josh Rosen and Sam Darnold are off the board. That was an hour ago. Wow. If you're the Jets, you're going, oh, crap. Oh, no. We traded our future for that third pick to the Colts to move 3 spots. And now the guy that we've crowned our prince, Baker Mayfield, might not even be there. Now you're the Jets, you're like, oh, no. If you're the Giants, you're like, oh, we're going to pick a quarterback now? Oh, David Gettleman picked the quarterback. Sam Darnold's off of the board. Off the board for the Browns. He's off the board. Josh Rosen and Sam Darnold off the board. They want Rosen. They want Allen or Baker Mayfield. Honestly, Browns take Baker Mayfield too. That's Johnny Manziel 2.0 kind of pick right there. I think Baker is better than Johnny Manziel. The comparisons are kind of misfounded. I'm just going off. I might probably watch too much Colin Cowherd, but yeah, it's just that's the here nor there. The fact that Baker's a much better quarterback than Johnny Manziel, but still the undersized quarterback. Josh Allen or Baker Mayfield for the first pick. Wow. That means Sam, coaching staff apparently not all that high on Sam Darnold. Josh Rosen is not being considered at number one. One scenario could be another one from the same Daryl Rutter reporting. I'm just reporting on what he's saying. This is Daryl Rutter, who is the Browns and Cavs guy for their radio down there in Cleveland. He's probably very connected in there. At the number one radio station, The Fan, that's all the sports radios in Cleveland, saying that one scenario heard the Browns would not mind coming away with Bradley Chubb, Saquon, and Lamar Jackson, but a lot of smoke and noise now. It's seriously, smoke, mystery, guys, whatever you want to call it, shroud of unknown. It's just ridiculous going on right now. It's just all this stuff coming out. Josh Rosen is expected, now we're seeing Bleacher Report saying Josh Rosen is expected to fall in the draft, and Patriots are linked to him. Of course, we already talked about that we talked about that on Friday. I can see the Patriots. They got a whole flurry of picks. I can see them trading into the top 10. Honestly, I see them trading in the top 10. I just want to see Sam Darnold on the Giants. Honestly, that'd be cool. Sam Darnold on the Giants. Maybe even drops to the Jets. Who knows? I think the Giants would be better for him getting behind Eli. And learn a thing or two. Josh Rosen sitting behind Tom Brady wouldn't, and learn a thing or two wouldn't be bad either. But if you're going to be Baker Mayfield or Josh Allen, and you're going to be deemed the savior of that Browns franchise, I don't know. I don't know why you think the coaching staff was not all that impressed by Sam Darnold, probably the most polished quarterback. Or just not, I don't say polished. Polished just talent-wise is the other guy they took off the board. Josh Rosen. They don't want to spend number one on him. Well, then don't pick somebody else number one. Trade the number one pick. Pick Josh Rosen fourth. He'll still be there. Browns. It's the Browns. I'm not even going to sweat about it. I'm not even going to worry about it. It's just ridiculous. It's just Browns 101 right now going on. As we get closer and closer to the draft, it was going to be Sam Darnold. Now it's going to be not Sam Darnold. Not the top two, probably the best two guys to. Look what Sean Payton said. Do you think Sean Payton knows quarterbacks? He did. Sean Payton has no reason just to make stuff up right now. His team is picking like what, 23rd, 24th. Not going to trade up probably. I think Patriots actually have the 23rd pick. The Saints, they lost in the NFC Championship. They lost in the divisional round. They're probably picking 26th or 27th. So yeah, Sean Payton has nothing to gain, nothing to say. But he was honestly just said, I don't see any of these quarterbacks in the draft being the Andrew Luck or the Carson Wentz to your franchise. They could most of them are going to be around. We're not going to talk about them in 4 to 5 years. The only one that might be able to do that is Sam Darnold. And you think Sean Payton knows quarterbacks? It's just fine. Browns be Browns. Browns 101. Do it, Pruitt. Fine. Pick Baker. Take Baker Mayfield, please. Please take Baker Mayfield. He looks great in orange. He left the one school today. He's in orange. Or no, actually, no, he didn't go to Oklahoma. He went to Texas Tech and then went to Oklahoma. He was never in orange, but yeah, whatever. I was thinking Oklahoma State, but no, Oklahoma. He probably looks great in orange. Baker. Take Baker for number 1 pick overall. He might even flash a money sign at you. Coming onto the stage, just pulls to Johnny. I got picked number 1. I mean, this is the guy. I mean, he's not stupid. Baker's not stupid. I think he just went in that ESPN or a Sports Illustrated interview. He said he didn't even read the Chargers playbook because he knows he's not going to get drafted by the Chargers. He's not falling past the 3rd pick. He's not. He's basically 1 or 3. Now all these reports saying that they're going to pick between Baker and Josh Allen. That was an hour ago. Those reports saying, close sources from the Browns. It's ridiculous. Giants, you're going to get your guy. He's going to fall right into your lap. He's going to fall right into your lap, and you better catch him. Let him sit on the lap. Let him come into New York. Let him be the next guy. Let him take over for your 37-year-old quarterback. Sam Darnold's coming right to you. He's saying, "Hi, Giants. The Browns don't like me for some odd reason. Why don't you make me a quarterback? Why don't you make them pay? Make them pay by taking me, and I'll be your next franchise quarterback." What a transition that would be. You go from Eli Manning, who's a Hall of Famer in his own right, has definitely regressed, but 2 rings, beat the GOAT twice in the Super Bowl. I mean, you give them. The thing about quarterbacks is you can really evaluate a quarterback by what they can do when you give them a good defense. What did Aaron Rodgers do the one time he got a good defense? Won a Super Bowl. What did Eli Manning do the 2 times he got a good defense? Won a Super Bowl. What did Peyton Manning do the one time he got a good defense? Won the Super Bowl. Breeze, same thing. I mean, he almost did it. I think the Saints don't have that issue happen on against Diggs. The Diggs played last year with the Saints. They probably beat the Eagles. I think they take care of the Eagles. Drew Brees outplays Nick Foles. They get to the Super Bowl against the Patriots and have a dang good chance to beat the Patriots. The Saints were a good team last year, and I like them this year too. Coming into the season, I mean, they lost on a fluky play, and that's why they weren't able to get into the game to play for the Super Bowl. I mean, all credit to the Eagles. They're a very good team as well, but you played Case Keenum in the NFC Championship game. You would have played Breeze in the NFC Championship game. Different story. You wouldn't have won by 30. It would have been a much closer game, and you may have actually lost with Nick Foles. Just saying. Good defenses will tell you. When you give a quarterback a good defense, if he can win rings, that's when you can take advantage of that. Rodgers did it. Breeze has done it. Both Mannings have done it. That's honestly why Brady's probably you can consider Brady the GOAT because they haven't really had that top defense. The Patriots defense actually usually gets their stuff together. And when you have Belichick, who's the wizard of defense, I mean, you're gonna you're gonna figure it out. I mean, they might not start the season great, but they're gonna eventually get in the top 10 of defense. So Brady, you could put on that list too. Same thing with Ben Roethlisberger. All these guys. Russell Wilson. I can keep going. Peyton Manning again with the Broncos. Keep going. You give somebody a good defense. I mean, where did I get that from? I start I was just talking about Eli. That's true. I was coming on a little tangent right there, but just same thing. I was just talking about how Eli is probably as a Hall of Famer, and you're going to back him up with Sam Darnold. You're going to come up and back him up with Sam Darnold for one more season. I think I said it on Friday. The only issue is you're going to be in New York. You're going to have the New York Post when Eli comes into a game and throws 3 picks and they lose. Oh, Sam Darnold, where is he? Well, actually, maybe wait till, okay, we're going to, when Eli, if you're going to have a Pat Shurmur now in New York, a good offensive coach, they got a good system. They have Odell Beckham. They probably can get a good running back in the draft too because there's tons of them. Say they pick, I mean, they're second in the, that means if they have the second pick overall, that means they're picking 34th. If they keep that 34th pick, they're the second pick in the first round, they're the second pick in the second round. That's the 34th pick. You take Nick Chubb or Sony Michel or Kerryon Johnson. Get a running back. You don't need to get Saquon Barkley. Get another guy. Or get Darius Geis if he drops that far. If he drops out of the first round. Great running back. I mean, there you go, Giants. You got a quarterback, running back, boom, boom, in your first 2 picks. Your offense has now been restored. Go work on your, I know you traded Jason Pierre-Paul. Go work on your defense. There's lots of good talent out there, too. Lots of good talent out there, too. All right, first segment out of the way. We're done. We talked about the draft. I'm going to do it again next segment, honestly. I'm going to keep going. We're going to talk a little bit more about this draft that's going on. Maybe go through the next couple picks, see what's going on with picks 5 through 10. When we're going to see a lot of defensive players come off the board in those teams. I know we're going to have the Broncos trading the pick. Actually, we're going to do it. I'm running out of time. We got to come back. We're going to come back after the break. I'll be right back.
Are you looking for help for your fantasy football team? Check out the GSMC Fantasy Football Podcast. Get today's best advice on who to start, who to sit, even who you should draft. From sleeper picks to red-hot lineups, they got it all covered for you. That's gsmcpodcast.com/fantasy-football-podcast. We'll cover traditional leagues, dynasty, PPR, even IDP leagues. When you need fantasy help, there's just one show to hit up. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit gsmcpodcast.com for more info.
Ooh, welcome back to the GSMC Football Podcast. This is the College Football Podcast, but it's draft week, my favorite week. I think I've said it a few times. The perfect meshing, coming together, the big dinner table. Everybody at the dinner table, we're drafting some players, friends. We're drafting players. College is going to become NFL. Where will these guys land? It's a mystery. It's like a mystery dinner. Who is under these teams are sitting around the table. Who is underneath your cover? There's a name for that. I can't think of it. There's a fancy name for those things a cloche. What is underneath your cloche? This came to me. I just remembered it. That's what it's called. What are you having for dinner tonight? Are you having a nice little Baker Mayfield? Is he going to be your Savior Browns? Are you going to be taking home Sam Darnold to New York Giants? Jets, what are you going to do now? You taking Jake and Josh Allen? Honestly, Jets, take Josh Rosen. If they take Baker Mayfield first, take Josh Rosen. Don't let the Patriots have him. They're in your division. You're going to let the Patriots take Josh Rosen, Jets? You're going to let them? You better not, because I bet you John Dorsey, the only reason why John Dorsey does not trade that first pick, or that the fourth pick, is if he takes Saquon, or Bradley Chubb. Honestly, that would be bad. The only reason the Giants don't take, I'm thinking because John Dorsey might trade his pick to the Cleveland might trade their pick to the Patriots because Dorsey and Belichick are buddies. And after they get whoever they want, and with the first pick, whether it's Baker or Josh Allen, hopefully Baker, because I don't really care, honestly. Take whoever you want. You're not picking the guy you're supposed to pick. There's 2 guys out there. One guy most ready to play day one. That's Sam Darnold. Been said already. Look at the tape. Look at the expert. Look at the draft guy. All these guys. It's pretty unanimous. Then you got the guy who is the most polished quarterback, has the most NFL skills. Ball comes out of his hand like an absolute rocket. Super easy release. Yeah, he's had some stuff come out talking blah, blah, blah. Who cares? He's going to be fine. He needs to put some meat on the bones, put a little more bulk on. I'm talking about Josh Rosen here, by the way, if nobody knew. But Josh Rosen, best footwork, best smartest, probably biggest. I mean, if you can be too smart, I think Colin talked about it all week last week. You're really going to knock a guy because he's too smart? These NFL playbooks are not children's books. They're not fun playtime. They're a mouthful. And if you want a guy who's going to be like a Peyton Manning who could take 3 of those mouthfuls to the line and then just decide what it is depending on the defense, maybe you want to take a smart guy. Jets, Josh Rosen, because the Browns don't want a smart guy. They want the guy who could throw it 100 yards. They want the guy who could throw it over the stadium, through the goalposts, because that counts for something. Honestly, Baker's film is great. Honestly, Baker's very accurate. He can make all the throws. He's elusive in the pocket. He's a little short stature, but I mean, we've had quarterbacks like that. If he learns how to throw out of the pocket, he could take the Russell Wilson, Doug Flutie, Drew Brees role. But the thing is, there's your 3. You can count them on one. You don't even need a whole hand to count the guys that have been successful at that height. By the way, just saying. Then fine, take Baker. Take Baker. Let Gus or let Hugh Jackson. I always think his name is Gus. It's Hugh. Same kind of Gus, Hugh Jackson, and let him go at it. Go at that. And you'll still be the Browns. Giants, you were given a gift, and his name is Sam Darnold. Okay, we're done with the quarterbacks. So we're going to the third fit. Oh, yeah. I was talking about that. That's why the Jets need to take Josh Rosen third if they don't get Baker. If they don't get Baker first or at the third position, and Josh Rosen's still there, which he will be, number 3. If Baker was Baker, Darnold, Rosen, take Josh Rosen because the Browns will likely take Bradley Chubb fourth or trade it, and then you got Mr. Elway over there in Denver, number 5 pick, who would probably love to take those 2 first-round picks from the Patriots and that second-round pick in 2019 or whatever they're going to give him for the 5th pick. Bill Belichick. Oh, ring. Oh, hey, Josh Rosen still on the board, number 5. You want him at 5? Okay, you got him. This is what we want for him. Done. Who are you going to take, Josh Allen? Now you're going to have to Josh Allen versus Josh Rosen 2 years down the road. Patriots versus Jets twice a year. What are you going to think? Yeah, one guy is more a little bulky, but hit the weight room. You got a weight room in that beautiful stadium you built, MetLife Stadium. I think Woody Johnson can put up a weight room for Josh Rosen to bulk up a little bit because he can throw the ball through the freaking window, the little tight 10 by 10 window that Josh Allen can't hit the side of the whole side of the house. Josh Rosen can throw through the window. Josh Allen can't hit the house. Who do you want? One guy's bigger than the other guy. One guy can throw it over the house. So, but I bet you if you really had Josh Allen and Josh Rosen throw the ball next to each other, how many more yards are you really going to get? Josh Rosen throws a beautiful deep ball. Beautiful deep ball. Touch, accuracy, ball comes out of his hand flawlessly. Only knock on him is durability and mobility. Get a good offensive line. There's guys like that. Bulk up a little bit. His comp is, who is the comp? Jimmy Garoppolo, who honestly has a pretty good ability to slide around in the pocket too, can take some hits. I mean, the comp for Josh Allen, I think, was Brock Osweiler. It's just, where is that? I saw the comps list. They came out with a comps list. Yeah, Josh Rosen is Jimmy Garoppolo, Sam Darnold's Tony Romo, Baker Mayfield, Russell Wilson, which is, I mean, that's a very nice comp right there. Yeah, I don't know about that. That's remains to be seen. That's just a. I don't know about that. I would say maybe more of a Russell Wilson. We'll see. We'll see. It's all we'll see. Like I said, it's a mystery. The whole thing's a mystery. I haven't even gotten to what I want to talk about this segment. I'm just still ranting about these quarterbacks and the fact that the Browns are going to fudge another one. I mean, they're lucky. They're lucky they have a fourth pick to maybe make good out of it. Oh, Josh Allen didn't do good, but we got Tyrod Taylor. But we still got a pass rusher. We still got Saquon. Well, I still don't think that. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I know there's been Lamar Jackson, maybe. I don't know. If they trade back with Buffalo, that's the one thing. Buffalo trading with the Browns for the first pick. Buffalo gets Josh Allen, number 1. Browns go back to 12, pick 4th and 12th, get Bradley Chubb 4th, and then they get Lamar 12th. That wouldn't be bad. That would not be bad. Then Baker still goes to the Jets. Sam goes to the Giants, and Josh Rosen has lunch at a diner by himself, pondering what happened to me. I'm the most polished quarterback in this draft, skill-wise. Have you seen his film? Go watch the Josh Rosen film. He's very good. He's a very good quarterback. He's size. He's got. So I could care less about what he has to say. I'm not a big fan of the fact that he says doesn't have to go work at McDonald's. I mean, yeah, maybe he said he doesn't need it, but if you don't overthink things as an NFL executive or a scout, yeah, a guy maybe needs. He doesn't need it. You guys want him to bleed football, sweat football, live football, eat, breathe football. Yeah, but it's just 2018. Maybe he doesn't. He has other things. The guy was a 4.2 GPA in high school. Was an economics major in college. The guy's smart. He doesn't need it. You think everybody else needs it? Yeah, the guy from the Ravens who was a great offensive lineman, but he knew like advanced whatever. He was like a mathematics professor at like MIT. He was a PhD. He actually retired early, but I mean, offensive lineman. But he was a good offensive lineman. Didn't need it. You're an NFL quarterback. You're the face of a franchise. You're going to want it. How about I want it? How about want versus need? I want this. Why does everybody have to be so desperate all of a sudden now? I need to play football to put food on my table for my family, so I'm going to do this up to. I mean, yeah, that's great. That's a great motivator. I mean, it's a great motivator. I'm sure it's horrible circumstances, honestly, but it's a great motivator. If you're from the NFL, from a coach's standpoint or a GM or a talent evaluator standpoint, it's a great motivator for a player to say if they need this game so bad in order to put food on the table for their family. But a guy who, comes from an affluent family, has never really struggled for anything in his life, but he's a very, very talented prospect in the NFL, quarterback prospect, and he doesn't need to play in the NFL, but he wants to play in the NFL, and he works his booty off to play in the NFL. And he's going to get picked in the, I don't even know, he's not going to get picked in the top 4. I mean, I feel the Broncos and Josh Rosen is sitting there. Unless Bill Belichick gives you his right kidney in draft picks, it's just euphemism, of course. That'd be hilarious. But John Elway, here's your kidney. No. if Bill Belichick goes to John Elway and says, I will give you all these picks, two first rounders and a second rounder, or maybe just the 2 first rounders, because it's not the first pick, it's the fifth pick. It's not the greatest. It's not that sexy of a pick, but it's still a 5th pick. Basically, Josh Rosen. Basically, you're trading Josh Rosen to the Patriots for the 5th pick. I mean, you're going to get whatever picks back you're going to get back. But, I mean, the Broncos are picking 5th for a reason. Their defense isn't the reason. The offensive line is all right. Yeah, they could probably use Quentin Nelson. But Josh Rosen, that was your problem last year, Broncos. You couldn't really figure out what you wanted to do at quarterback. Trevor Siemian, really? Paxton Lynch didn't work out. I think Josh Rosen would be a great fit in Denver. That ball, I bet you Josh Rosen in Denver would be Jake Allen anywhere else when it comes to throwing the ball far. But, he'd have the adage of being able to throw accurately in those windows. Like I can make the little window reference again for you guys. Little window reference. Ugh. All right. More rants. I filled the whole segment up. I didn't even talk about what I wanted to talk about this segment. We'll push it to the next segment. We got another half hour for everybody, friends. We got a half hour left on this wonderful Monday here. It's college football. We're so close to the draft. I got one more show on Wednesday. It's gonna be like I'm gonna call it Draft Eve. One more show Wednesday before we have our mystery dinner picks. Who's you taking to the ball? Who's coming to the ball with you? Who's going? Will it be Jake? Will it be Josh Allen? Who are you writing? Who are you giving the keys? Who's getting the keys for their draft present? Keys to the Browns' lovely franchise, that delicious, lovely franchise. The keys to the Hummer that just sucks up all the gas. That's the Browns. If you're the Giants, that's like what's like a nice little Bentley driving down 42nd Avenue in Manhattan. If you get picked by the Giants, nice little, or my stretch limo in New York or Manhattan. How about that? Jets, maybe not as much of a stretch limo because it's still in New York, but it's not quite the Giants. But I'm just making analogies. And then 4th, again, you're back to the big honking orange, bright orange Hummer. And then 5th, you can go back. I mean, it's a nice, probably a little better car. Probably maybe like make a nice like big F-150 or something, or a big truck, nice souped up truck up in Denver. Whatever. Yeah, we'll find out. It's a mystery. Okay, next segment. We actually probably will. I'll get off my soapbox when it comes to these quarterbacks, but We'll talk about the rest of these picks. I got to the 5th pick. I said 5th, 5 through 8. That I talked about the 5th pick in that last segment, but we'll get to the 6th pick. That's the Colts, and then I think 7th is the Bucks. 8th is the Bears. 9th Niners. 8th Niners. No, 9th is Niners. 10th is the Raiders. So we'll get to that when we come back.
Check out the show that's built on the MMA. From the UFC to extreme cage fighting, they got the fights covered. Check out the GSMC MMA Podcast. Get the latest news on past or upcoming fights. Join us as we talk to and about some of the biggest names in the MMA, past, present, and future. When it's the fight game, there's just one show to check out. GSMCpodcast.com/MMA-podcast. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
Welcome back. Segment number 3, GSMC Football Podcast. This is the college football edition. But we are talking a lot of NFL stuff a little bit. I mean, because it's the draft, so it still falls into my purview. Fortunately, Jesse will be talking about it as well on Tuesday, tomorrow, and then he has the show literally right before the draft on Thursday, or during the draft. I think he does his show around 1 o'clock in the afternoon, so that'll be right before we get going from Dallas. So I'll be lucky. I'm gonna have to stay for that one. So, okay. Third segment, 5th through 10th picks. Broncos. You're the 5th pick. Yes, you said you wanted to trade it, but Josh Rosen might be there. I don't know why all these people are poo-pooing Josh Rosen. He'd be a great fit in Denver. An absolute great fit in Denver. You have John Elway as your mentor. He's not in the big... Denver can be a big spotlight because they do get a lot of national attention. They've won a Super Bowl lately. They had Peyton and what have you. They're great. They're a storied franchise in the NFL. So it's not quite like out of the spotlight. It's not quite New York, though. But yeah, Josh Rosen. 6th is the Colts. They're probably going to stay there. And if Quentin Nelson drops to them, if basically that means that the Broncos didn't pick him, they're going to nab him. I know. I always forget their GM's name. Chris Ballard. Chris Ballard is a GM for the Colts. He's come out and said that they're open to trading the pick, but that's if their guy. That's my thing. Is Quentin Nelson, Notre Dame. I think is their guy. And he's like, if he's there, we're going to take him. But if he's not, we'll trade the pick. So basically, if the Broncos don't take Quentin Nelson, the Colts will at 6. 7 is the Buccaneers, and that's interesting because Saquon Barkley was my hot take on Thursday to be the Buccaneers pick. Now, what if Saquon drops to 7 and goes to Tampa? That'd be cool. I talked about it on Friday. I said Friday was my hot take on Friday. Saquon to Tampa. Because, that's basically... He's not going 1, 2, 3. He's not going 1, 2, 3. And he's not going 5, 6. I'll tell you that. He might... I said it's a mystery. I've also said the Broncos could take him. That wouldn't be a bad pick either. So Broncos could also take, if you don't want Josh, if you don't think Josh is the guy. The thing is, when are you going to get another? When are you going to roll back around? These teams could also always. I always kind of forget. You always can trade back into the first round and get another first round pick. So any of these teams could trade. So say the Broncos pick Saquon 5th, and they still need a quarterback. They could trade back into the first round and get a guy like me. See, Josh Rosen drops even farther. Get Josh Rosen anyways. Trade back in the first round, get Josh Rosen, or maybe a guy like Lamar Jackson, as I was thinking of before. But yeah, Saquon to the to the Bucks, or if not, maybe Denzel Ward to the Broncos. To the Bucks, the linebacker from Ohio State. Then 8th is the Bears, and they could do. They're probably thinking about either. The thing is, I've heard that Roquan Smith is there's a bunch of linebackers. There's Tremaine Edmonds. There's Roquan Smith from Georgia, and then there's Denzel Ward from. Actually, Denzel Ward's a corner. I'm saying he's a linebacker. He's actually a corner. He's a corner. That's what that's probably why. Yeah, duh. That's Buccaneers, Denzel Ward, market. If they don't pick him, if they get Saquon, then he'll go 8th to the Bears. But there's also been reported that the Raiders are trying to leapfrog and get in front of the Niners. I know they had that coin toss for the 10th and 9th and 10th pick, which the Niners won that coin toss to get the 9th pick. Niners want Roquan Smith. Already had a visit with him last week, especially with the stuff regarding Reuben Foster up in the air. Reuben Foster up in the air. right now. But yeah, no, Roquan Smith is the guy that Niners want. There are reports, though, the Raiders might leapfrog and try and get into that, maybe even right in front of the Niners into that 8th spot from the Bears. Take that pick from the Bears and, trade them whatever they give them a second pick or something. I mean, as the Niners, the Bears might probably not as happy with the Niners right now, especially after what happened last year. They kind of fleeced them for a bunch of picks just to move up one spot. I mean, it wasn't really about the fact that the Niners were going to take. They weren't going to take Mitchell Trubisky, but they were going to trade that. We're basically holding that pick hostage. That second pick last year, they're holding it hostage, saying we have somebody who wants it to take Mitchell. You got to give us a better deal, or we're going to give it to him, basically. And they gave him a better deal. So basically, that's what happened. So the Bears had to trade up and get into just one spot to get that from the whatever team was going to take him anyways. So yeah, the Bears not having, and then they also lost to the Niners by 1 point last year too. I think it was like 15-14 in Chicago last year. So I would say the Bears not too happy, and they have a new coach in Nagy. Coming over to coming over as he was the offensive coordinator last year before the Chiefs, coming over to coach for the Bears. All right, so that was Niners now at 9. If they don't get traded in front of, would take Roquan Smith, and I've seen a lot of the draft boards saying they're going to get Tremaine Edmonds. Also, that would not be a terrible pick either. I think Tremaine Edmonds is the linebacker from Florida State. I've seen his name everywhere, and I just cannot match his school with his name right now. But I think I'm right, because that sounds right to me, but I could be wrong. I'll get back to everybody on that one. Yeah, see, the Niners, there's tons of people saying, it's a mystery. Niners could trade out of the first round, could trade up, try and get somebody else. I mean, this is just ridiculous, honestly. Tremaine Edmonds, he went to Virginia Tech. I don't know what I was thinking Florida State. Different ACC team. Close. Same, right conference, wrong team. For Virginia Tech. There we go. Okay. Yeah, Tremaine was still a very good linebacker, very fast, but they want Roquan Smith. And we'll see if they can get him there at 9. At 10, Raiders also want Roquan Smith. I bet you whoever doesn't get him will get Tremaine Edmonds. They both need linebacker help. So Raiders and Niners there, sitting at 9 and 10. So look at that. I go through all those picks, bang, 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 and I still want to rant about the quarterbacks. We're going to get, and this as we come to the end of this third segment now already, is we are just absolutely flying through this GSMC fantasy college football edition of the football podcast, and only with one more segment to go. After this, we're going to talk about some stuff that went on back. We kind of did. We're back-to-back episodes. We're doing this actually on Friday. We did the same thing. I talked about the draft for about 45 minutes, and then I'm like, we're going to go back to campus, which is exactly what we're going to do now. We're going to go back to campus. I previewed a lot of those spring games that happened on Thursday. I think there's only 3 on Friday. Most of them happened on Saturday. We had Georgia go, we had Alabama go, we had Oregon, Washington, everybody. I watched that Georgia game. It looked pretty good. Jake Fromm looked okay. Defense was very good for Georgia. They were flying all over the place. Lots of interceptions in the game. But, it's spring football. So we're going to talk about some stuff that went on back on campus when we come back in the next segment. And in the meantime, we're gonna rant a little more. I'm not done yet. I can't stop thinking about how much the Browns are going to mess up this draft. There's been a history of teams fudging the first two. Especially when they get the first their first 2 picks, and within those first 5 picks, they have 2 picks within the first 5, which the Browns do this year. And I'm going to go back to Malcolm Gladwell. As I always do. You take your quarterback. Okay, good. That's if you're in the first 5 picks. If you're not going to pick a quarterback, you trade the pick, because the pick is always more valuable than the player you'd get anyways. If it's not a quarterback, that's just how it works, because that's how money works. That's how the business side of it. I think I said it on Friday. These picks are slotted. It's all slotted. It's all predetermined how much there's a bill bracket of how much they get to be paid based off of which pick they are. This ain't no Sam Bradford anymore, where they can get a crazy deal right as a rookie contract out of the rookie deal. No, it's all bracketed out. Signing bonuses, everything. It's based off draft position. So, if you're going to take a quarterback first, Browns, which you are, sounds like it's going to be Baker Mayfield or Josh Allen, which is just ridiculous. I mean, Baker's fine. I like Baker, honestly. Baker's tape is good. I watched a lot of Baker's game this year. He's shorter, yes, but he's a great football player, and he's hungry. He'll make your team better. He's very accurate with his throws. He's very assertive. He has the elusiveness. He can run around the pocket. I wasn't really that big on him going to a cold weather city, especially in the AFC or North, where you're going to play in Pittsburgh, you're going to play in Detroit. I mean, in Denver, Baltimore. I keep saying, well, that was weird. Baltimore, and then in Cincinnati, and then also 8 times in Cleveland, of all places, weather-wise, which is not a walk in the park there. So, but you know what? Baker, it's just. Accuracy is paramount. I mean, obviously the best ability is availability. That's why Josh Rosen probably is getting the knock, because he's been injury prone already in college. But Baker Mayfield is. It's funny that they've come out. They would come down to those 2 names. Really, they would come down to those 2 names. The Browns would. The fact that Josh just. Oh my goodness. Honestly, at this point, just pick Lamar Jackson. Why don't you? It's insane. Insanity. It's just ridiculous. The Browns. All right. Enough of this. Enough of me ranting about the Browns and how crazy their picks are going to be coming on Thursday. It's a mystery. This could be all smoke and mirrors. We could very, very easily just be like, with the first pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns select Sam Darnold, quarterback, USC. Southern California. Nah. It's going to be, with the first pick in the NFL Draft, it's going to be Josh Allen, quarterback, Wyoming. Guaranteed. And the Jets will be like, oh my God, thank you. Because then the Giants, they'll go boom, boom. And we're not going to get 4 quarterbacks. But we should get 4 quarterbacks. That's how it should happen. The Browns should trade that 4th pick I was getting at with the whole Malcolm Gladwell thing with Colin, saying that if you're going to have, especially if you have 2 picks, that 4th pick in the first round is much more valuable trading it than it is picking Bradley Chubb and crossing your fingers that he gets 15 sacks in this rookie year. Or doesn't get hurt like Myles Garrett did. Or getting Saquon Barkley and crossing your fingers and he gets more than 3 yards a carry and can actually last more than 20 yards a game, 20 carries a game. Cross your fingers, Browns. No, you trade the pick, you get some more picks back, and you get value in later rounds. We'll be right back with stuff from the campus. Enough ranting from me. It's time to go back to campus. We'll be right back.
Check out the show built around the women of MMA. From the UFC to the extreme cage fighting, we got the fights covered.
Listen.
It's the Golden State Media Concepts Women's MMA Podcast. The latest news of upcoming fights, discussions of previous matches. Join us as we talk to and about the biggest names in women's mixed martial arts, past, present, and future. When it's the women's fight game, you know where to listen to. The Golden State Media Concepts Women's MMA Podcast.
All right, welcome back. Final segment of this Monday show, GSMC Football Podcast. As always, I'm Tom Dougherty. I do the college football edition. This is the college football edition of the GSMC Football Podcast. As you have obviously been listening to me rant and give my hot takes. It's not quite rant. I wouldn't call it ranting. It's just pleading. It's begging and pleading for teams to make correct decisions. Even though, honestly, I have a team, my undisclosed favorite team, that I'm not going to be a homer of. I'm going to be very objective on this show. But also, I have an NFL. I have a picture of what I want to see the college football, how I want to see college football, and how I want to see the NFL, how I want to see college football enter into the NFL, and how I see talent like Sam Darnold and Josh Rosen, and how I don't want their talents to be wasted on the Browns. Basically, that's what I'm getting at all of that little weird vignette right there. All right. To college football, back to campus. We had a bunch of spring stuff going on. As actually, it looks like Jalen Hurts we're going to talk about Alabama a bit and where things stand after their spring game. As definitely a frustrating scrimmage for Jalen Hurts. The reports last week, I talked about that he will be transferring if not given the starting job come the fall. He was not stellar on Saturday. 19 for 37 for 195 yards, no touchdowns, and he did throw a pick. And he's a junior and didn't have any facial expression. He's not happy right now. He's not happy with himself. He's not happy with the situation. He's unhappy that Nick Saban is wearing a pink suit on the sideline. What is that pink suit? Oh my goodness. Is that pink or just my screen? Well, interesting. All right. Just ridiculous. I mean, Mac Jones, the third string quarterback, outperformed him. He won the most valuable player. That's just very interesting. I mean, I don't think Tua didn't play because of his hand. So we didn't really get to see how he's going. But yeah, Jalen Hurts, given his effort to try and prove Nick Saban that he's the man for the job in his junior season. I mean, that's a big undertaking being for a guy who coming off of a season that he led his team to a college football playoff final. He played in I think it was the Sugar Bowl last year. Was the semifinal game? I don't know. They all rotate. And it was the Rose Bowl was one of them. Yeah, got him to the final. Struggled against Georgia. Got benched. And the freshman won it for him. But he's a junior, so I mean, he's going to have to. It's a big undertaking. What I'm getting at it's a big undertaking to decide that you're going to transfer and forego a whole year of college football. Basically taking a year off. I mean, yeah, you're going to take a year. I mean, he's not going to play anyways. I mean, the thing is, people get hurt. I'm of course, not wishing any injuries on Tua Tagovailoa, but it's just the way it works in football. People get hurt, Jalen. Why won't you stay the course, stay with your team, stay at the best college football program in the nation, in Alabama Crimson Tide, and see if you get your name called again? I mean, versus just being, I mean, honestly, if he was going to transfer anywhere, where do you think he's going to transfer? He can't transfer in conference, so he's got to go somewhere else out of the conference, and I think Jim Harbaugh is going to pluck him. Jim Harbaugh can pluck Jalen Hurts and turn him into a better passer. He's already got all the other skills. He's got the elusiveness. He can run like the wind. I mean, that's why everybody's like, oh, he should just be a running back. But he wants to throw. He wants to be the quarterback. And if anybody's going to make him into a passer, it's going to be Jim Harbaugh. I mean, he did it already once with Kaepernick. He was a great runner. Ran the read option like a dream. And he turned him into an NFL quarterback who could actually throw the ball down the field with some accuracy. No, work on the touch a little bit more. That's just because Colin threw the ball so darn hard. But imagine if Tua took a year off at Michigan. That's the one thing. That's actually the one adage that you can say, okay, yes, I understand why he wants to transfer, because then you transfer and you sit out that year, but you're sitting out that year practicing, right? Or just, you're with the team. You're at that other university. He'd be in Ann Arbor. He'd be at Michigan with Jim Harbaugh being able to talk to him, saying, okay, we're going to get ready for you for next year. But the thing is, they have 4 guys? They have their own quarterback competition going on right now. I think they actually do have one transfer who's going to be graduating, and he's going to become. He waited out his junior year. Is going to be a senior this year. So, and you never know with Michigan's quarter. There's always room for another quarterback when in Michigan. Michigan's program, as they've never. Wilton Spate already left, so maybe he thought it was the QB room was a little too crowded. But when you have if you got a guy like Jalen Hurts walking in there into the Michigan QB room, they'll make some room for a guy like him. If I'm just speculatory, but if push comes to shove, that'd be a very interesting little thing to happen if Jalen is not able to earn the job come fall and decides to transfer. Maybe he goes and heads up to the northern part of the country to Ann Arbor. I don't know how much he wants to play in the blizzard, but that's just the way it is. Michigan is a very good and storied program up there, and you got a guy like Jim Harbaugh who can teach you a few things when it comes to being a passer. So something Nick Saban doesn't really get at because he's more of a defensive guy. All right. Nick Saban did quote. He did try to bring some context to the table. He was quoted saying there's way too much pressure in the pocket for the quarterback to be able to operate like he would, saying that, the defensive line was definitely outstaging the offensive line because, it was Alabama known for their vaunted defenses, and when you got it guys, maybe they're rotating to different linemen in there when it comes to the offensive line, rotating different on both sides. The defense will probably have a little more edge, so Jalen was probably running around pretty well. Pretty good on Saturday in Tuscaloosa. He hasn't really spoken out once other than the fact that he will be transferring if he's not picked. All right. I talked about a little bit what happened at the Georgia game. Jake Fromm did throw. Right when I tuned in, I wanted to see Jake Fromm's outing. He threw a pick. The Georgia defense, their secondary looks really good. They're moving. Their linebackers are fast. They have the turnover chain last year at Miami. They got a big shoulder pads, so that you put on the dog. They're the Bulldogs, but yeah, so. They do have the only problem is that with the secondary is that they have some depth issues. They do have some depth issues when it comes to defense. They got a good top line, but that they have to need to figure that out. They did like I said, they did have 3 interceptions, so that probably will help soothe some of those concerns when it comes to the secondary. But the defensive line is having some issues with their depth and their being able to get the quarterback. All right. Another thing is their wide receivers. Wide receivers looking like they have actually the opposite side of that when it comes to depth. Looking like they're going to be the deeper position on the team this year. They got the younger Riley Ridley, Cowan's brother, is going to be coming back to lead that group of receivers. You're going to have Terry Goodwin, McCole Hardman, and obviously Riley Ridley, who's going to be some pretty nice weapons for Jake Fromm to use on the outside of for the Georgia Bulldogs coming up this fall. All right, as we come to the end of this show here on a Monday, it was a great show. Very good show. As much as I hope you guys liked listening to me rant as much as I liked ranting. I wasn't that crazy today. I was pretty controlled and had some good takes. I did get to the 5 through 10. I told you I would. It took me to the third segment, but I got hung up on all these reports I'm reading regarding the Browns being the Browns, basically, when it comes to the quarterbacks they pick from the ranks of college football. I mean, trading up. I mean, trading up to get Johnny Manziel. Now you're going to be using. Finally, you don't have to trade up at all, but you just got to use that first. You get 2 picks in the first round here. First 10 within the first 4 picks, you get 2. If you're smart, you take the quarterback first, and then you trade that. Or actually, if you're really smart, you trade the first pick, get the most value for the first pick, and then pick the quarterback with the 4th pick. Or you let the Jets imagine the Jets trade up again. That'd be crazy. Maybe they're putting these reports out there that they want Baker or Josh Allen, probably say like, we'll see if we can get the Jets to trade up again. Jets have already given away a lot of their future. We'll see if they can give up more of it just so they can get Baker Mayfield, even though there's plenty of quarterbacks out there. I don't know. Josh Rosen will be fine in New York. I don't know. These guys all get in their own heads. Oh, I'm going to take him off my board. The fact that Browns take Josh Rosen and Sam Darnold off their board. Who's their talent evaluator? Who's your guru in there working? Who decides that? What is this? Is this they're going to pull the Kevin Costner draft day where he just picks the linebacker first overall and eventually gets to everybody else? And it's just ridiculous. You're going to stick with Tyrod Taylor? I mean, you're going to get a quarterback. There's no joke about that, but whatever. All right. Back on Wednesday this is the draft day remains a mystery. We're still waiting till Thursday, but Wednesday will be the draft eve party. Everybody come in their best costumes and stuff as we come to this lovely mystery party, masquerade ball basically on Thursday. We'll have our little pre-draft eve, a draft day eve party on Wednesday. And everybody tune in for that on Wednesday also. I'll probably give some more of my hot takes and some more. No, I won't be ranting as much, but we'll also be going back to campus as well, as we always do. That's probably be a big part of this show coming up after the draft as well, as we're going to be sticking. Once the draft's over, it's going to be all college. We're going to be going back to campus a lot. So, everybody enjoy the rest of the beginning of their week. Everybody have a good Monday, Tuesday. I'll be back on Wednesday, and we'll see you then.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.